Hello my friends, welcome back to Keto and the Chaos. My name is Tammy, and on this channel I like to share how I lost 200 pounds without bariatric surgery and how you can be successful on your own weight loss journey. So if that's what you're looking for, don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for more videos like this one to inspire you to get started. My top 3 tips. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I am super excited to be starting my newest series on my channel, which will be my reverse dieting series for 2022 and 2023. I do estimate this reverse diet is going to take quite a long time, so I thought in today's video that I would go over the basics of what a reverse diet is and why I'm doing it, as well as showing you everything that I ate this week in order to have my first week on my reverse diet. And I will also be sharing a 360 body view of my before and after for this week. You won't probably see a lot of change, and the point of showing the 360 at this point will be to show that I'm not growing exponentially larger as I push forward to this reverse diet, or to alert me as if that is happening so that I know I am probably to the end of where I can go. That's my plan for right now. I may change things in the future. I do not know. Another thing I'll be showing in this video is my weigh-ins every single day, and of course the data at the end. I will be sharing everything and how this reverse diet is affecting me each week as we go along. This is the first week of the series, and I'm just coming off of a full 12-week summer keto weight loss cut. So if you missed that last video, it showed the before and after from the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer and how trim I was able to get in 12 weeks on a ketogenic, high-protein, low-calorie diet. I will also be sharing with you a little later in the video some of my life updates, whether or not I've been able to see more doctors, how my progress is going with the doctors that I have been seeing. So if you're interested in those little tidbits of information, that's gonna be towards the end of the video. So stick around, be sure you stick around to the end of the video so that you don't miss anything important that you might want to know the answer to. If you do have a question, I highly recommend looking in the About section to make sure that I haven't already answered your question below. I try to put a lot of the frequently asked questions on my channel, the answers to those in the About section, as well as links to products I offer, discounts for, and of course ways that you can support the channel, and also ways that you can join me on my journey and have my help in your own weight loss success. So the first thing I want to kind of go over is why you would want to reverse diet. I had never even heard of this concept. A few years back, I was struggling with what to do with maintenance. I had kind of gotten to a place where I wanted to attempt it. I'd kind of been playing with the idea, but one of my longtime viewers, Keto Cricket, mentioned reverse dieting to me, and I was like, I couldn't find anything on it. Like I started Googling, I tried to figure it out, and the number one most important resource for reverse dieting that I was able to find on the internet and on YouTube is the videos by Colin DeWay. So if you have not checked out Colin's channel, I highly recommend doing that. He gives you a very broad and also in-depth perspective on dieting, how your body adapts to it, how it works, and why it's important to reverse diet out of a diet. A lot of the information that I found online was actually about, for example, like pushing your calories up to a ridiculously high amount of calories from a normal amount of calories, something that maybe someone who is trying to bulk up their muscles or, taking a break from bodybuilding or things like that they might be interested in doing. I didn't really find anything for the average person until I came across Colin's videos, and his just totally changed my life. It made me understand how I could make lasting changes that were going to affect me for my entire life, and that I would be able to be successful to keep the weight off long term. Whereas before I kind of felt scared and nervous and I didn't know how I was going to accomplish that. He kind of gave me a roadmap for that. I will try really hard to remember to link Colin's channel below. And he, of course, is going to be the master at explaining reverse dieting. I'm going to give you a basic rundown of what it means, at least what it means to me and what I'm planning to do with it. But if you want an in-depth view, especially if you have been a long time dieter and you're dealing with some serious problems, not being able to lose weight on an extreme, what you feel like is an extreme deficit, like 1,200 calories or below, you're definitely going to want to check out his channel to have your perspective changed on how you're going to fix that in order to be able to actually lose weight again. Before I explain exactly what a reverse diet is, we should probably talk a little bit about what the body does when you go on a diet. So a diet is any kind of food calorie restrictive program. It can be any length of amount of time. It doesn't have to be keto. It can be any kind of calorie restriction that you're doing in order to lean out, get fit, lose weight. Whether or not you were like me, where you were morbidly obese, I was almost 400 pounds when I began my first cut, not really knowing that's what it was. Or like me now, where I am just trying to lean out a little bit in order to be able to enjoy myself comfortably for most of the year and only have a certain part of the year or maybe even every other year where I have to worry about keeping a calorie deficit. As you're on your calorie deficit diet, if you were originally like me, a person who ate a lot of food and never really dieted, it might go really well for you. I dropped 100 pounds in 8 months. Plus, as we know now, I was also suffering from lipedema and I lost a lot of water weight along with that body fat and was able to do that because keto really does help with that in particular, which is probably why it worked so well for me. That doesn't mean that it's the only diet that works. It just really, really worked for me. But as you go along your merry way, especially if you are smaller, your body will adapt to having fewer calories. Now, if you were still on the higher end, like I was, you can go a lot longer time without your body adapting down, without your metabolism being affected because you have lots of extra calories right here to feed your body. And so you don't need to worry about diet breaks and reverse dieting, things like that as much when you are in a rapid fat loss type of situation, which is what I was in when I first started. But as I got smaller, the same thing wasn't working super well because eventually your body goes, oh wait, that's a little too much weight loss for me. And I like this place where I like to be, your body's fat set point, and your body will try and keep you there. And one of the ways it does that is it adapts down your metabolism to burn fewer calories so that it can better use the food that you are giving it, which is super great if, for example, you're stranded on a desert island for 2 months and all you have is coconuts. Your body will adapt to that and help you to use your calories the best way possible and not to waste any. But when we're trying to lose weight, it's kind of like a thorn in our side because it doesn't work as well as we want it to over time. So if you have been dieting for a really long time and you're getting to the point where your body is just not losing weight anymore and you just kind of get tired of it and you decide just like, well, I've gotten as far as I could stand, I'm just going to say screw it and I'm going to eat all the things, and you go back to eating the same exact things that you ate before. I have done this. A lot of you guys may not realize, but before I started YouTube and before I even had my last 2 babies, I actually lost 110 pounds doing kind of a keto diet. I didn't know I was doing keto because the coach didn't tell me that's what it was, but it was like a shake diet. And I lost a lot of weight. But then I got pregnant, had a miscarriage. I just kind of said, screw it. I went back to eating anything that I wanted, and I put back on 150 pounds in like a couple of years. And I gained way back more than what I had originally lost. And that is what happens when you shrink down your metabolism adjusts down, and then you go back to eating everything in sight, and your body just cannot cope with that large amount of calories. It can't adapt up fast enough, and maybe you're eating way too much that you couldn't even adapt up to, and you are in a surplus, and thus you gain weight, and you gain weight quickly. One of the ways to avoid that is to take regular diet breaks. So if you watched my 12-week series, you probably saw me I think I had at least 3, maybe 4 diet breaks in that 12-week time. And a diet break to me is when I eat about 2,000 to 2,200 calories in a 24-hour period, and I do it in 2 days in a row. So basically 48 hours, 4,400 calories-ish is my diet break to keep my metabolism from freaking out, to keep my metabolism from going, ooh, let's stop making heat for your body and let's chill out and be tired and all of that. So you can definitely do that as you're dieting. I also do not like to diet for a huge amount of time. So I just wanted to mention this because I don't know if this person is going to even watch this video. This was a new viewer to my channel last week, and I kind of was frustrated with this comment that they made. And I wanted to address it because I just wonder, this person hasn't been to my channel very long. They haven't watched very many of my videos. They just kind of perused my playlists and whatever and saw what was available on my channel and then made this observation. So I'm just going to read it outright. This person says, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, says, just an observation. Quick look at your channel for the first time. You do a lot of keto challenge and transformations and weigh-ins and body before and after and weight loss programs. But you're pretty much the exact same weight going back about 15 months, right at 196 at all times. Why are you obsessing over weight and weigh-ins? Is it just a gimmick for clicks? Congrats on your initial weight loss, but is it healthy to obsess when you are at a relatively somewhat healthy, steady homeostasis weight? Just seems weird you would weigh consistently the same through all that. Okay, so much to address in this, but that I don't really have. Maybe I should have just made a whole video just based on this comment. So first of all, a quick observation of anybody's channel is not going to give you an accurate overview of what that person's channel is about. Unless it's, of course, auto maintenance or makeup. When it comes to weight loss diet channels, especially ones like mine where I'm sharing my actual life and journey, you're not gonna be able to get an accurate view based on titles of videos. Let me remind you, YouTube is a very fickle thing, and people are very fickle, and the things that they will click on and the things that they will watch are very few and far between. I am one of these. I have many channels I am subscribed to, and often I just scroll through trying to find something that catches my interest, piques my curiosity, and sometimes it's not the same person over and over and over watching their video every single week. So in order to get people to watch your videos, you kind of have to have a catchy title or some kind of exciting thing happening in order for them to want to watch the video. I kind of took offense to her saying it was a gimmick for clicks. YouTube is not gimmicky. YouTube is in and of itself a competition. And you're competing with all of the other weight loss based channels, keto based channels, and of course, entertainment based channels, because when people are on YouTube, they're watching it for all kinds of various reasons. People go through times in their life where they really want to lose weight, and they go through times in their life where they don't want to hear about it. And so in order to be able to be competitive on YouTube and actually make a living, which now YouTube is my job. If I'm not making money, I don't need to be on YouTube. At this point, I feel like the videos out there speak for themselves. The education is there. If you want to know how to do it, it's there. If I just keep remaking and remaking and remaking the same thing over and over, it just doesn't feel exciting or motivating to me as a creator. I like sharing my personal self, my personal story, where I am at in my journey. And so in order to make that exciting, there has to be a title that is like a keto transformation, that has a cut, before and after. Yeah, because people want to see that. People don't care what you ate yesterday. Let's be real. Very few people watch every single day what you're going to eat in a day. And there's only so much place for that. And people really do want to see before and afters. And when people come and click on my before and afters, they get a lot more than that. They get to become my friend. They get to understand my life. They get to have personal revelations about me because I talk a lot. And, we get to have fun. But unless they click, we don't get that. And so, yeah, it is a click thing. Of course, because this is YouTube. Is this news? I don't understand. So, and then another thing that I kind of took a little bit of offense at was basically that you're exactly the same weight as 15 months ago. Okay, so that's not true. 15 months ago, I was about to have my surgery and I weighed 178 pounds. And I had maintained that weight for a really long time, doing a whole entire reverse diet series, which is what I'm about to begin now, from the summer before, where I did an actual cut, just like I did this last summer. So I had had a whole year of raising calories and maintenance at a lower weight than what I am right now in 15 months ago. Now, if you want to go back to when I first hit Wonderland, maybe we could talk, because that's 4 years at the same weight. So, I mean, maybe if this person had said 4 years, I would have gone, okay, I can see that. But no, I have basically been, like, I had gotten all the way down to 167 at one point, and I'm not super happy in the 190s, never have been. And usually when I get into the 190s is when I decide I'm going to go on a cut. Okay, so I'm not obsessing. Is it healthy to obsess when you are at a somewhat healthy homeostasis weight? Okay, first of all, I'm not obsessing over anything. I'm sharing my progress and my journey so you guys will see in detail what I'm doing. There was a very long time I didn't even show my food. All last spring, I didn't even make videos. In fact, I feel super bad because I received a really sweet gift in the mail. Someone sent me this makeup and clothes and all this stuff, and I never actually aired the 15-minute clip of me opening it and then me wearing the stuff and loving it because I scrapped tons of footage because it was boring as heck. It was just my regular life without tracking anything and doing anything. I have used this like a crazy person ever since. In fact, I have now hit pan on this one, and I probably will on this one soon. And I just feel bad because, you know, like it's hard when you have a lot of expectations from people and you don't meet them. And when it comes to YouTube, there's so many more expectations than just, you know, regular life and your friends and people that you deal with on a daily basis. So the reason that I have a lot of weigh-ins, challenges, it's not even a challenge, it's literally a cut, a diet, and the reverse diet series and my maintenance videos is so that you guys can see you do not have to diet 365 days a year to maintain a reasonable weight. But you cannot expect to just go back to eating exactly what you want, overeating and eating in a surplus and not gain weight. There has to be a balance, and for me, the balance is eating a little bit more through the winters, the fall, winter, and spring, especially the spring. And then in the summer, when I have a little bit more time on my hands, that I have personal time, that I don't have a lot of kids to deal with because I am a homeschool mom. I have 9 children. 3 of them are still homeschooling. I have 5 competitive dancers, and my life is insane. And so in the summer is the only time that I can actually sit down and diet. I couldn't call that unhealthy or obsessed to be spending 3/4 of the year eating normally and then dieting when I get uncomfortable. Also, I haven't been on a cut in 2 years because I had my surgery last summer, so I didn't cut because I had my surgery. Did you miss that whole thing? I had a whole thing on surgery. Anyway, so moving on from the person who doesn't actually know me, I wanted to mention that because I wanted to kind of explain why I do these in series. First of all, it's so I can organize it on YouTube so it's easier to find. And secondly, so you can see consistency over time is the way you lose weight and maintain it in your life. I'm still figuring things out, but I definitely feel like I have a better handle on it now than I did a couple of years ago. And I've definitely had a lot more practice at it. And I've definitely been maintaining my weight for at least 4 years because I'm still in the 190s 4 years later. And that is important, my friends. That is important. There are very few channels that you can go out and see someone just eating whatever they want and always maintaining their weight. Oh wait, there's none. Nope. Literally none. And if this person has a channel, which I didn't bother to look at, I think they actually do. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't even bother to look. But if this person has a channel, maybe I should go watch theirs because maybe theirs is some brilliant, genius way that we don't have to think about our weight ever and we can just do what we want. Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. Okay, so back to the reverse diet. Let's talk about why regular diets always fail. Since we're talking about this unhealthy obsession, we're talking about keto challenge and transformation before and after. That's the fun part, right? That's the fun part. But the problem is that people will go on a diet, they get super motivated. For example, a lot of people get super motivated at the first of the year. and they start a diet on January 1st, and they have all these plans, and they're super motivated, and they're just like going. They lose a lot of weight at the beginning, and they go and go and go, and then by about February 9th, right around Super Bowl, they decide they're feeling kind of, I'm hungry, I'm miserable, I don't feel that great, I'm tired, because their body begins to adapt down, and they start to feel less optimal, right? That's normal. Problem is that they'll sit down and they'll go, hey, it's the Super Bowl. I'm just going to have one cheat day. And then the cheat day becomes a cheat week and a cheat month, and I'll get back to it later, and then you'll have a whole year go by and you gained 50 more pounds and boom, or 20 more pounds or whatever you gained. And you start over again in January. How is that any different from me choosing to diet in the summer and then just gain weight slowly over the rest of the year? It's not. But the reason why it fails is people will stay on a diet just long enough and just miserably enough without doing diet breaks or anything like that. Now, the Super Bowl could have been a diet break if they'd planned it, right? But they do that until their body adapts and cycles down and the metabolism becomes lower. So when you first start, if you've been eating everything in sight, you probably have a super high metabolism, like 2150 or 2200 or something if you're like my size. And then you go on a 1,300 or 1,200 calorie diet, and within 6 weeks, your body starts to go, and who knows, maybe it's down already. Maybe you've already adapted down to surviving on 1,600 calories, right? Or if you have been dieting for a really long time and you're maintaining your weight on 1,200 calories and not able to lose weight anymore, you've really adapted down at that point, and you really need to reverse diet. The problem is that most people will just be like, they get worn out and tired, and they'll decide they're just going to have, like I said, a cheat day, a cheat meal or whatever, and then they gain a bunch of weight overnight. They get really upset about the overnight weight gain. They say screw it. They say this is too hard, and they throw caution to the wind, and they eat everything, and they gain it all back really quickly. And why do they gain it back really quickly? Well, because they have dieted their metabolism down to like 1,600 calories, and they're going back to eating like 2,200 to 3,000 or more. Even though they were eating a normal amount of calories for their body, their metabolism didn't get a chance to catch up, and so they're in a huge surplus, and so they're going to gain weight. There are 2 ways to avoid that. The first one is to take diet breaks every, 4 to 6 weeks. For me, I did it every 3. I did a 2-day diet break. You can do a 2-week diet break. Plan it. Track it. It's not a throw caution to the wind kind of deal. It's I'm going to eat 2,200 calories today. Tomorrow I'm going to eat 2,200 calories. Then I'm going to go back to my deficit. So that is the first one so that you can avoid the yo-yo. Secondly, is a reverse diet. Reverse diet has been a lifesaver for me. I've only done it once so far, and it was amazing. I remember I lost a bunch of weight over the summer, I think like 20 to 24 pounds or something like that. And then I went on my reverse diet, and I actually kept losing weight for quite a while. And that's why I was in the 170s when I had my surgery, because I was able to maintain that at a high calorie level before I had my surgery. So that is what I want again. And that is why I am doing a reverse diet. And I highly recommend anybody do a reverse diet, no matter how long they were in a cut. Though, if you were only in a cut for 12 weeks, reverse dieting for 12 weeks should be sufficient to get you where you want to be. If you're like me though, and you want to like prolong that calorie deficit just a little bit longer, maybe you will want to raise it up a little bit more slowly. And so that is what I'm going to be doing. So at the beginning of this reverse diet, I will probably be losing weight still. And then as I push up into the 1,800 plus category, I probably will just be slowly, basically adapting up my metabolism. When you adapt your metabolism up, you probably will gain some weight, and you just have to accept that that's part of the process. But the key is not to gain so much weight back that you can't lose it in a very short diet period or a very short cut. So that's my plan. I would really like to get back into the 170s. That would be super great. I don't know that that's going to happen with this reverse diet or anything like that, but I do hope that I will continue to lose a little bit of weight before I start going up. And then if next summer comes around and I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, I've overeaten during competition season because it's highly stressful and extremely busy, then I will decide if next summer I am going to diet or whether or not I'm just going to continue on maintaining at my higher level calories. We will see what happens. So far, I haven't ever gotten to the end of a spring without putting on too much weight that I didn't want to do a cut in the summer. But who knows? This could be the miraculous year. Okay, I don't feel like I explain this very, very concisely or very well. Not like Colin does. His videos are much shorter than mine. But the way that I'm planning to do it is if I lose weight in a week, I will push up my calories between 40 and 100, just depending on what I feel like per day. And then if I stay the same, I'm going to push them up like 25 to 50 probably. And if I lose weight, I probably won't change them or only push them up like 0 to 40, like up to 40 or something like that. I will start with raising proteins and fats, and eventually I probably will get to where I need to raise carbs. One of the ways that I am going to raise my calories is with keto products, because I really like using keto products. I know people don't like that I do that, but it is really helpful to me, especially as I'm trying to find ways to get more protein in, or ways to get more fats in, or ways to just get more calories in. It's complicated for me. It's hard to figure it out. And so I've been kind of like looking for some things that I would like to use to do that with. And one of the products that I'm super excited about is actually the sponsor for this video, and it is Perfect Keto. And they have put out a new line of keto bars that are completely dairy-free. These are vegan, which that's pretty rare for any kind of bar to find anything that doesn't have any dairy in it. Now, I do not have issues with dairy, but a lot of people do. This particular one is peanut. It does have peanuts in it. I know they have a dark chocolate coconut one that's available in the mix box, I think. They don't have that one currently available in the full packs. All of the information on the sale for these is in the About section. So if you didn't already look, be sure to check down there for the information on how you can get your hands on these if they aren't already sold out. They came out on September 12th, and I don't know for sure when this video is going out. Hopefully you already got a notification about what they are, but each bar has 240 calories. And normally when I'm in a diet, I would not eat this because that's like way more than even a Quest peanut butter cups set, which is like 190 and I think 11 grams of protein. But when I am trying to find ways to put a little bit more calories in my diet for the reverse diet, it's sometimes really hard, and it's super convenient to be able to just grab one of these if I just can't think of another way to get any calories in. And here it is, this cute little bar. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've not actually tried these yet. I already tracked this in my macros today because I wanted to try it. There's 3 grams of carbs, and there's 20 grams of fat and 8 grams of protein in these bars. So I'm just gonna try a little bit of it. It's very chocolatey looking, and see what I think. I'm a dairy person, so maybe I won't love it, but I mean, it's chocolate. How could it be bad? Ooh, that's yummy. It's very dark chocolate. Almost tastes like a brownie with a little peanut. Almost like a dark chocolate peanut butter cookie. That's actually quite pleasant. I really like dark chocolate. It makes me want to put like sugar-free raspberry jam on it. Would that be weird? It makes me feel like I want to eat like a peanut butter and jelly dark chocolate sandwich. Yum. Okay, well, thank you to Perfect Keto for sponsoring the video. I'm excited to finish the rest of this later. Definitely check out how you can get your hands on these in the About section below. Okay, so on to the next thing. This is my first week on my reverse diet, and it did not go how I wanted it to. My original plan, because I had been at about 1,600 calories, was to push up to 1,650. I was not successful. My week was so insanely busy that there were some days where I was like, I'm not eating. I don't know if it's because I'm now on the Ritalin, if that has really like curbed my appetite, or if it was just because I was so stressed and busy this week that I was like too overwhelmed to even think about eating. But I actually had to force myself to eat for the first time that I can remember in a very long time. I did force myself to eat, and I did track all of it, but I was having a really hard time getting the calories. I'm like, okay, we're now not in a diet anymore, and I'm supposed to get some calories in a little bit more than I couldn't do it. So last minute push yesterday, Dave and I went to Texas Roadhouse for prime rib, and even when I got home, I realized my calories were still too low. I didn't eat a big enough piece of prime rib at the restaurant because I didn't pre-track it. And so I ended up eating 3 Built bars before I went to bed to get my calories up, and oh man, I love that. You know how I love my Built bars. But I probably should have just eaten one of these. I didn't even think about this one because I was waiting for the ad video in order to before I could eat them, but I should have just eaten one of these instead of 3 Built Bars. I don't know, whatever. It didn't really matter. I got my calories up. So basically this week, I ended up eating in a pretty good deficit for most of the days, and then like Friday and Saturday, and now today, I'm kind of pushing up my calories to try and make up for that. You can do it that way. So it's called Calorie Cycling. So you raise your calories really high on the weekends when you're having fun, and then you keep your calories in a really good deficit on the weekdays when you're busy and you're not thinking about it, and they average out to be the amount that you want them to be. So before we watch the footage, that's all I had to say about that. I know it's not going to look like I'm eating anything all week because it felt like I wasn't, but we're going to go to that footage, show you guys my 360 and the weigh-ins, and then I'm going to come back and talk about how it affected me on the scale. Guys, I am at a thing. It's like 3:11 in the afternoon. There's nothing I can eat, and so I am going to eat this that I brought. I wish I would have had a Built Bar, but I didn't bring one, and that's going to be my first thing I eat today. Guys, I have literally not eaten today, and it is 7:45, and all I've had is a bag of Quest chips. So I'm having another Quest chips, some hamburgers, a hot dog, some bacon, cheese. Alrighty guys, it is 3 o'clock on Monday. It is Labor Day, and I got started late on my day today. We did school still because we don't take breaks, and I'm about to have my first meal of the day. 2 eggs, 30 grams of mozzarella cheese, 26 grams of bacon, and my regular sludge. This is made with 1 cup of Greek yogurt mixed with 1 scoop of perfect keto vanilla whey protein powder, 2 capfuls of lemon juice, 2 squirts of Mio water enhancer, 30 grams of almond milk to thin it out, 50 grams of raspberries on top, and 25 grams of sugar-free whipped cream, Great Value brand. That is going to be my first meal of the day. At the park, I'm having a Built Bar. Alrighty guys, it's almost 10 o'clock. I just got back from hanging out at the park with my kiddos. You saw I ate a Built Bar there, and tonight I am having skillet pizza. This is 120 grams of mozzarella cheese with 20 grams of pepperoni on top and 30 grams of Rayo's marinara and some Quest chips. That's going to be my last meal of the day. Alrighty guys, it is 9:30 on Tuesday, and I'm technically having my first meal of the day. We went to a Harry Potter movie watching party earlier today, and I ate 1 Built Bar and about 40 grams or so of almonds, and that is all I have eaten until now because I have been too busy. But now I am having 9 ounces of chuck roast and 100 grams of carrots, a Premier protein shake, and then I'll probably grab also a Built Bar, and that is going to be my last meal of the day. Alrighty everyone, it is Wednesday. It is 2:30 and I'm actually eating food. Yesterday was, I have no words, and today has not been much better. Week 3 of homeschool is always a trick, and add in all of our extra clubs, and our dance schedule is all back to normal. And yeah, it's the days when I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? But I'm eating to leave again in a half an hour, so here we are. 2 eggs, a piece of Colby Monterey Jack cheese, my regular sludge made with 1 cup yogurt, and 1 scoop of perfect keto protein powder, 50 grams of raspberries on top, 25 grams of sugar-free whipped cream, and a Built Bar. That is going to be my first meal of the day. finally eating my last meal of the day. Yeah. I don't even have any words for today, but it is almost over and I need some sleep and also some food. So I'm forcing myself to eat this even though I am literally not hungry and I should just go to sleep. I'm having turkey burger nachos. So this is Quest chips topped with 40 grams of cheddar cheese, 6 ounces of ground turkey, 60 grams of tomatoes, 80 grams of salsa, 20 grams of olives, and 30 grams of sour cream. And that's going to be my last meal of the day. Alrighty guys, it's Thursday. It is 2:15. Today has been much less stressful than the last 2 days. Thank goodness. Everybody was not having full-blown panic attacks and we didn't have a bunch of new things to go to. It was just a school day. Hallelujah. I am supposed to play volleyball tonight, but I don't know if I'm going to be up to it. Last night, clogging, I didn't show very much of it, but yeah, it was harder than I remember. I don't know, maybe I'm just feeling old lately. But this is what I'm having for my first meal of the day. 2 eggs, 28 grams of center cut bacon, a piece of Colby Monterey Jack cheese, and my regular sludge. That's going to be my first meal of the day. Alrighty guys, it is about 11 o'clock. Is it really? Yeah, I think it is actually. Almost 11 o'clock on Thursday night. And I just finished editing my big 12-week reveal video. It took me over 4 hours to edit it. And I was very hyper-focused on it. And I just couldn't deal with dinner. Dave tried to make me some spaghetti. But I was apparently out of the cheese I wanted. And it was out of marinara sauce. And then he was like, well, I'll make a gravy. But we were out of cream. And I'm like, just forget it. I can't deal with it. So he actually had to leave and go. He's working on a car. He's gone. So I went downstairs after I finished and I just made myself a smoothie because that's just what sounded good so late at night. So made me a huge smoothie. I'm using some protein powder I rarely eat. It's delicious. I love it. I've talked about it on my channel before and I have a link for it in the about section, but I don't use it very often because it's so high calorie. It's 400 calories for one serving of it, but it's called Health Code. And it's like the ideal meal replacement for keto. So it's super low carb, nice high and healthy fat, lots of protein. Anyway, so I put 2 scoops of Health Code, 75 grams of yogurt, 185 grams of frozen strawberries, because I didn't have any ice. I probably would have used ice and less strawberries. It tastes carby, that's for sure. I also used Fairlife milk as the milk for it. I used 240 grams of Fairlife milk and 2 squirts of acai berry Mio, and it's pretty dang good, guys. I'll be real, it tastes... Well, it's putting me over my carbs for the day. I'm probably hitting 40. So, you know, tastes good. I'm also going to throw in a Built Bar, because why not? And I guess that's going to be the last meal of the day. Alrighty guys, it is 3:12 on Friday. As you saw, I went to the park this morning with my kids and I brought 30 grams of almonds and a Built Bar so that I wouldn't be starving because I was hungry when I woke up. Probably because my dinner was basically liquid and it doesn't last very long. So I came home and this afternoon I decided to have just a big bowl of sludge. So this I made with 300 grams of yogurt. Everything else is the same macros. And then I'm going to take a Built Bar with me and have it at my practice tonight because tonight is my very first practice for being Madame Stahlbaum in the Nutcracker. So if I record something, maybe I'll put something of that in here for you. And yeah, that's going to be my first meal of the day, sort of. Second meal, second snack, something like that. All right, so now it's time for our Nutcracker practice. Eloise has Clara, but not the same Clara we've been doing. It's more like the groupie Clara with Fritzy. And you can't even see me. Fritzy. I don't know. I have to practice my part too. For the first time.
With Oliver.
With Oliver if he shows up. Hopefully he will. And yeah, It's ballet time. Alrighty guys, it is 9:30. I just got home from Nutcracker Practice. It was fun. And I'm about to have my last meal of the day. Dave went and got me wings. My favorite. 9 without sauce, sauce on the side, and a salad with ranch. That's going to be my last meal of the day. Alrighty guys, it's 2 o'clock on Saturday. I just got invited to go out on a double date with my friend tonight, thankfully before I ate anything. And so I'm saving up some calories for tonight by just having my sludge, and I was in the mood for sweet, so I made it with Keto Chow Snickerdoodle instead of my normal vanilla. And on top I even put some Perfect Keto Cinnamon cereal. So I used a half a scoop of Keto Chow, the Snickerdoodle, with 250 grams of yogurt. And then on top I've got 30 grams of sugar-free whipped cream and some cinnamon, and of course 20 grams of the Perfect Keto Cinnamon cereal. And that is going to be my first meal of the day. Alright, so welcome back to the world's longest video. I can talk, can't I? I mean, good grief. Anyway, you saw everything that I ate, and you saw me go to my clogging class. Thankfully, I only filmed a short clip this week. That was the only exercise class I ended up having this week. We did a lot more than I showed in the video, but it was my first day back, and I felt awkward recording. And anyway, you got to see me a little bit dancing. This was also the week that I ovulate, and usually I go up on the scale, and I was expecting an increase on the scale, and then it didn't go anywhere. The scale was like the same, and I was like, what is going on? I almost thought that I didn't ovulate at all, and I still kind of wonder if that's maybe possible. I mean, I am getting close to perimenopause. Stranger things have happened. I never really had my weird water retention weight gain thing that I normally have when I ovulate, which was kind of nice, because then after I was past that thing, you saw the scale started to go down. And even though today's weight was not reflected in my average for the week, I had to show it because what? I finally got in the 180s. What? I should have just gone one more week with the cut. Oh wait, I technically did. So let's go over that. Okay, so reverse diet week 1 weigh-ins. Let's go over those first. So 192.4, 192.2, 192.4, 192.6, 192.2. See, same. And then I ovulated on Wednesday and it started to come down. 190.6 and 191. For an average of 191.8, which is a 0.8 loss for the week. And of course, I have high hopes for this following week after seeing the 180s on the scale this morning, which, can I just say, I actually cried. I really wanted that this summer, and I hadn't gotten it, and I was trying to be stalwart and happy about it and not be annoyed. And yet, I was really frustrated last week when I did not make it. And then to see it today, it was just kind of like, there you are. I don't know. I was all verklempt about it and happy, and I'm hoping it sticks around, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so the calories for the week started on Sunday, 1,600 calories, then 1,447. I mean, these are so low. They're lower than I've been able to accomplish in weeks. 1,447, 1,481, 1,583, 1,591, and then my days I tried to make up for it, 1,703 and 1,895, for an average of 1,614, which is only up 4 calories from last week. But that's okay. I mean, so I extended the cut a little bit longer. This week I'll try and push for at least 1,650 and see how it goes. My protein for the week was 153, which is a little on the low side, and my carbs were 26, which is a little on the high side, and my fats were 88, which is right in my basic wheelhouse. So that was okay. But the biggest shock, if you didn't think that the 188 point whatever it was a shock, the biggest shock was when I took my measurements. Oh my goodness. So I did go down another ½ inch in my bust. If you've been watching the 12-week cut, you know that I have now lost 4 inches around my bust since I began this thing. Literally the last place on earth I want to lose weight, but apparently it's the favorite of my body to do. So my bust went down another ½ inch, but shocker, both my arms went down 1/4 inch, which have been immovable during this whole summer. So I was super happy about that. Both of my thighs, which is really a trouble spot as well, both also went down ½ inch each. My left knee, which has been real trouble the last couple of weeks, went down ½ inch. My waist went down another ½ inch, guys, 32.5. I'm so happy about that. But the biggest shocker of all, my hips measurement went down a whole inch. Nothing on my booty, which I am okay with it, for a total of 4 inches lost in a week. I think that might actually be the record for the entire summer. And it's supposed to be my first reverse diet days. I'm super happy about that. Actually, I'm excited about that. And I really am hopeful that the trend will continue next week, because even at 1,650, because I've kept a nice diet break cycle, I should be still in a pretty good deficit. And obviously I'm still losing weight at 1,600 calories, so I'm guessing that I am. So a few more weeks, I will probably still lose some weight before I start to balance out that adaptation as I'm pushing my calories up. But the goal is to get my calories back up to where I was happy, around 2,150, 2,200 calories. I may do it fast, I may do it slow. We shall see. Honestly, I'm literally playing it by ear. This week, I didn't feel like eating, so I didn't really eat as much as I normally do. And the weeks before, I felt like eating more, and so I ate more than I was supposed to. Who knows what this week has in store? I'm looking forward to seeing what it has in store. So yeah, I guess great opening first week. And I know that some of you are still here to the very bitter end to find out if anything happened with doctors this week. I'm still working on the voice issue. I obviously did this whole video in my regular voice because I wasn't thinking about it, but I am trying. I have vocal nodules. If you missed that in last video, I talked about it. I am taking Ritalin and it is working, but by 4 or 5 o'clock, it's really wearing off and the symptoms are coming back a lot worse. So I'm not sure what we will change in the future based on that, but for now, I'm just doing what the doctor told me to do. And then I have a med check in a little while. I don't know when it is. And then I know that last week I told you guys that I was on a mission to get an appointment with the vein doctor. So I finally did get a hold of them. They want to do ultrasounds on my legs, and the earliest they could get me in was like November 10th or 11th or something. So I'm still waiting on that. But I did finally get a call from the lymphedema clinic, and they are going to see me tomorrow. So in next week's video, you will be able to find out if I finally have a real lymphedema diagnosis, if they think I also have lymphedema, whether or not I'm going to be doing some intensive therapies for that, or whether or not what I'm already doing is enough. But it'll be nice to have somebody who actually knows about these conditions to talk to, so that I don't feel crazy and I don't have people saying, you don't really actually have that because the doctor hasn't diagnosed you, which is super annoying. So that's my update for the doctor visits, and I think that was everything for this video. I know this is probably the world's longest at this point. I really did want to have an in-depth discussion about what a reverse diet is at the beginning of this series in case people find it in the future and like want to know, and they want a basics of what I'm doing if they start at the beginning. I don't know if I'll repeat all of that every single week. Seems like people don't really understand what the reverse diet is, so I'll probably repeat it a little bit, and I apologize in advance for those of you who've seen it before. But those of you who've seen it before and are still watching, I know that you guys are like my best friends and I'm super glad that you're still here watching me, and I'm super glad that I'm still in it to win it. I'm proud of myself. And despite getting negative comments about my obsession with healthy weight, I am thrilled that I'm still in it to win it, and that I'm still here on YouTube, and that I'm still killing it. Still in there, doing it, feeling it, doing my thing. And I'm glad you guys are here with me. So there you go. That's it for everything today. And I guess I'll see you all again soon. Bye.